Do not ignore this, because this message has your name on it. Heaven is watching you right now, and you are being chosen to hear what others cannot. They said, "Why you?" And they whispered, "It cannot be real." They laughed and hoped you were fake, but heaven sent me to tell you they were wrong. You are not fake. You are favored. You are appointed, and you are being prepared for something big. This is not a coincidence. This is a divine moment. The angels are speaking your name, and they have written it on scrolls of light. Your name is echoing through heaven's chambers, because you survived what was meant to destroy you. You were counted out by many, but heaven kept counting you in. They thought your silence meant defeat, but God was building your strength in the quiet. They wanted to see you fail, but angels were sent to lift you higher. They planned your downfall, but the plans of heaven overturned theirs. Every tear you cried was noticed, and every night you felt abandoned was recorded in heaven's books. Comment protected if you know no weapon formed against you shall prosper. They asked, "Why you?" But heaven answered, "Because this one belongs to me." They doubted your faith, but your faith moved mountains that they could not see. They tried to label you, but heaven renamed you chosen. Your survival is proof of the divine hand over your life, and your story is becoming the testimony that shakes the earth. They wanted you to feel unworthy, but God is crowning you with glory they cannot take. The angels stood guard around you, even in moments you thought you were alone. Every attack formed against you only revealed how valuable you truly are. You were the one they dismissed, but you are the one heaven is now exalting. This is why the enemy raged so fiercely, because you carry what generations have been waiting for. They said you were fake, but your light was too real to be hidden. Your presence made them uncomfortable, because your spirit carries heaven's fire. You have been tested by storms, but storms only reveal the strength of what cannot be shaken. Heaven has been watching, and heaven has been preparing you in silence for a moment like this. The tables are turning in your favor, and soon the same mouths that doubted you will speak your praise. Do not lose heart now, because the breaking point is becoming your breakthrough point. They thought you would break, but your spirit only grew stronger in the fire. They tried to bury you in lies, but heaven planted you in truth. They hoped your name would be forgotten, but heaven is writing your name in places they will never reach. Your story is not ending in shame, because your story is becoming the light for others walking in darkness. The enemies of your soul wanted proof that you were nothing, but heaven is showing proof that you are everything in God's hands. They mocked you when you stumbled, but angels rejoiced every time you stood again. They asked, "Why them?" But God answered, "Because I made them mine." The pain you carried was never wasted, for heaven was shaping diamonds in the pressure of your heart. Every moment you felt unseen was the very moment angels surrounded you with their wings. Comment, "I claim this," if this message feels meant for you. The very people who laughed will soon see what heaven has placed in your hands. Do not despise what looks small, because what is small in your hands is already great in heaven's eyes. They thought you were lost, but heaven says you were hidden for a time such as this. Every delay was protection, and every rejection was direction. They wished you would give up, but your endurance has become a weapon sharper than any sword. They wanted to strip you of your hope, but your hope has anchored you deeper than the storm could shake. You have been pressed but not crushed, and you have been wounded but not destroyed. Your scars are no longer chains. They are proof of your resurrection. The angels whispered your name in council, and heaven voted in your favor. This season is shifting, and the one who was mocked will now be magnified. Those who doubted you will soon have no choice but to admit the hand of God is upon your life. They counted you out when you were down, but heaven counted you worthy when you stood back up. They thought your silence was weakness, but God was writing power into your stillness. They wished to see you empty, but heaven is filling your cup until it overflows. They closed doors in your face, but God is unlocking gates they cannot touch. You were hidden for a season, but now you are being revealed with glory that cannot be denied. They wanted to erase your name, but your name is now engraved in heaven's book of destiny. They tried to laugh at your faith, but the very faith they mocked is birthing miracles before their eyes. They said you were unqualified, but God has called you chosen. They said you were unworthy, but God has crowned you with honor. They said you would never rise, but God is lifting you above their words. Every whisper of doubt they spoke will now be silenced by the shout of heaven's favor over you. Every stone they threw will now be used to build the altar of your testimony. Type amen if you feel God is speaking to you right now. They never believed you would last this long, but you are still here, stronger than ever. You have walked through valleys that should have broken you, but instead they built you. You have endured nights that felt endless, but the dawn of heaven is breaking upon you. You are not who they said you were, because heaven is rewriting your identity. You are not defined by their doubt. You are defined by God's promise. You are not fake. You are fire. You are not forgotten. You are favored. You are not small. You are significant. The same voices that said, "Why you?" will soon ask, "How did they do it?" And the answer will be simple, because God was with them. Heaven has always been with you, in silence and in storm. Heaven has always been fighting for you, even when you felt defenseless. Heaven has always been loving you, even when you thought you were unlovable. You are about to see what all of this was for. The pain was for preparation, the rejection was for redirection, the waiting was for strengthening, the silence was for sharpening. Everything that felt wasted is being restored in double portion. Everything you lost is coming back multiplied. Everything you prayed for in secret is about to be revealed in public. The angels are already moving, and your breakthrough is already unfolding. You will not end in shame. You will end in glory. You will not end in loss. You will end in overflow. You will not end in defeat. You will end in victory. Because heaven has chosen you, and no one can cancel what heaven has written. They tried to push you aside, but God has placed you at the center of his plan. They wanted to see you forgotten, but your name is being lifted where no hand can touch it. They thought the storm would drown you, but heaven walked on the water beside you. They thought the fire would consume you, but you walked out without a single burn. They thought the weight would crush you, but you rose carrying strength they never imagined. Your survival confuses them because they do not know the power that sustains you. Your light unsettles them because they cannot comprehend where it comes from. Your endurance threatens them because they cannot explain how you are still standing. They said, "Why you?" But God has been saying, "Because I have called them by name." When others see weakness, heaven sees destiny. When others see failure, heaven sees victory in process. When others see nothing, heaven sees the crown already waiting for you. You are the one heaven chose, and that is why hell has been fighting you so fiercely. The greater the attack, the greater the anointing. The deeper the pain, the higher the promise. The longer the waiting, the larger the blessing. Heaven has been preparing you for a moment that will silence every doubt. The very ones who spoke against you will witness what God brings through you. The very ones who mocked you will have to watch you shine. The very ones who said you were fake will bow their heads in silence when they see the truth. Heaven's truth cannot be hidden, and heaven's hand cannot be denied. Your enemies will watch, but they will not stop what God is releasing. Your haters will see, but they will not steal what God is giving. Your doubters will whisper, but they will not undo what God has spoken. Every attempt to block you has only built the stage for your unveiling. Every trap that was set has only revealed the angels guarding your steps. Every lie told about you has only revealed the truth of your endurance. You have been prepared for such a time as this, and nothing can delay what has already been written. The angels are surrounding you, the Spirit is filling you, and heaven is declaring your victory. You are walking into a season where promises become reality. You are walking into a season where prayers become testimonies. You are walking into a season where your pain becomes the platform of your power. They cannot stop it because heaven has already begun it. They cannot undo it because heaven has already sealed it. They cannot deny it because heaven has already revealed it. This is the turning point of your life, the moment everything shifts in your favor. The silence is breaking, the waiting is ending, the blessing is unfolding. You are stepping into the promise you thought was too far away. You are stepping into the breakthrough you prayed for with tears. You are stepping into the light that was always meant to be yours. And all of heaven is rejoicing because the one they called fake is now revealed as chosen. They thought you were too weak, but God made your weakness the doorway to his strength. They tried to close every path, but heaven carved a way in the wilderness. They tried to silence your voice, but God gave you words that carry thunder and fire. They wanted you to bow to fear, but God raised you to stand in boldness. They tried to bury you with shame, but your shame became the soil where grace grew strong. They said, "Why you?" because they could not see the years you endured in secret pain. They said, "Why you?" because they did not witness the nights you cried, yet still chose to believe. They said, "Why you?" because they do not understand that heaven does not choose the perfect, heaven chooses the willing. Every stone they threw has become the stepping stone under your feet. Every lie they spoke has become fuel for the fire inside you. Every trap they set has only revealed that angels walk before you. You are not defined by their laughter, you are defined by God's decree. You are not defined by their doubt, you are defined by heaven's choice. You are not defined by their rejection, you are defined by God's embrace. The road you walked was never easy, but every step was guided. The storms you faced were never wasted, but every storm taught you to hear heaven's voice more clearly. The wounds you carry are no longer chains. They are proof that resurrection lives within you. You have been overlooked by people, but never overlooked by God. You have been underestimated by men, but never underestimated by heaven. You have been doubted by crowds, but you have been trusted by angels. And soon, the same voices that said, "Why you?" will ask you how you endured. The answer will not be found in your strength. It will be found in the grace that carried you. The answer will not be found in your wisdom. It will be found in the hand of God that guided you. The answer will not be found in your plans. It will be found in the mystery of heaven's design. They tried to scatter you, but God was gathering you. They tried to break you, but God was building you. They tried to expose you, but God was covering you. You are not behind. You are right on time. You are not forgotten. You are remembered in heaven's records. You are not too late. You are right where the promise unfolds. The angels rejoice when your name is spoken because they know what is coming. Heaven is watching as your season changes and the clouds that covered you begin to part. The light of heaven is shining and no darkness can withstand it. The sound of heaven is echoing and no doubt can silence it. The hand of heaven is moving and no enemy can stop it. You are stepping into a moment that was written long before they ever questioned you. You are stepping into a promise sealed before time began. You are stepping into a victory designed long before your enemies plotted. And all of this is happening because heaven chose you when no one else did. They said you were nothing, but God has always said you are everything to him. They said you were a mistake, but God said you were chosen before you were born. They said you were weak, but God said his strength would rest on you. They said you would fail, but God said you would stand. They said you were fake, but heaven said you were sealed. You survived what should have destroyed you, because angels lifted you when no one else could. You endured what should have broken you, because God wrapped you in unseen protection. You stood when your knees were trembling, because grace held you steady. You prayed when your lips could barely form words, and heaven recorded every syllable. You cried when no one else knew, and every tear was caught in heaven's jar. You are not overlooked, because the King of Heaven has had his eyes on you. You are not forgotten, because your name has been carved into eternity. You are not abandoned, because heaven has walked beside you every step. They do not understand how you keep moving forward, but it is because you are carried by something greater than yourself. They do not understand how you keep shining, but it is because your light does not come from this world. They do not understand why doors open for you, but it is because heaven himself holds the key. You have been through fire, but the fire only proved you were made of gold. You have been through storms, but the storm only proved you were anchored. You have been through battles, but the battle only proved you were born a warrior. And every voice that said, "Why you?" will soon fall silent, because the answer will stand before them. The answer is that you were chosen not by man, but by God. The answer is that you were called not by the world, but by heaven. The answer is that you were lifted not by luck, but by divine appointment. Heaven is turning the story in your favor, even as you hear these words. The angels are aligning things you cannot yet see. The Spirit is placing opportunities that no hand can take from you. The Father is preparing a table for you in the presence of those who doubted. And you will eat from that table, clothed in joy they cannot steal. You will drink from that cup, filled with blessing they cannot pour out. You will rise to that place, lifted with glory they cannot diminish. This is why the opposition was so strong, because the destiny was so great. This is why the warfare was so heavy, because the calling was so high. This is why the tears were so many, because the harvest will be so full. You are stepping into divine reversal, where the last shall become first. You are stepping into divine justice, where wrongs will be made right. You are stepping into divine fulfillment, where waiting will turn to rejoicing. Heaven has always known your worth, even when they denied it. Heaven has always seen your value, even when they mocked it. Heaven has always carried your name, even when they tried to erase it. And soon, what was hidden will be revealed, what was doubted will be confirmed, and what was delayed will be delivered. They thought you were finished, but heaven says you are only beginning. They thought your story was over, but the author is still writing chapters of glory. They thought the pit was your end, but the pit became the place where heaven met you. They thought the fire would consume you, but the fire purified your spirit. They thought betrayal would destroy you, but betrayal became the key that unlocked your destiny. Every word of doubt they spoke is being overturned by the word of God that cannot fail. Every chain they tried to place is falling to the ground, broken by the hand of heaven. Every curse they spoke is being reversed into blessing. You are walking in the middle of a divine reversal. The very mouths that said, "Why you?" will marvel and say, "How them?" The very hands that pushed you down will witness you being lifted higher. The very eyes that watched you struggle will see you walk in strength. For you were chosen not because of their approval, but because of God's decree. You were anointed not because of their acceptance, but because of heaven's plan. You were lifted not because of their help, but because of angelic hands guiding your way. Heaven has been watching every detail. Nothing was overlooked. Heaven has been guiding every step, even when the path felt lost. Heaven has been preparing every blessing, even when you thought nothing was changing. Your season of hiddenness is coming to an end. Your season of ridicule is being transformed into a season of recognition. Your season of pain is being exchanged for a season of peace. You will walk into rooms you once thought were locked to you. You will sit at tables you were once denied from. You will hold blessings you once thought belonged to others, because the God who chose you does not fail. The angels who guard you do not sleep. The Spirit who fills you does not depart, and the Father who loves you does not change. This is the hour where truth reveals itself. This is the hour where favor exposes itself. This is the hour where favor exposes itself. This is the hour where the hand of God cannot be hidden anymore. Your enemies will see it and be silenced. Your friends will see it and be amazed. The nations will see it and be in awe. Because heaven has decided to show the world what it saw in you all along. And nothing, no one, and no force can stop what has already been written in eternity. They thought you would remain in the shadows, but heaven is placing you in the light. They thought you would remain small, but heaven is stretching your borders. They thought your voice would never be heard, but heaven is amplifying your sound. They thought your name would fade, but your name is now echoing in places you never imagined. They hoped your dream was fake, but your dream was divine. They hoped your faith was empty, but your faith is filled with fire. They hoped your calling was a lie, but your calling was written in heaven before time began. Every time they mocked you, heaven recorded it. Every time they doubted you, heaven took note. Every time they spoke against you, heaven responded with, "This one is mine." You are walking proof of what God can do with a life surrendered. You are walking testimony of what grace can carry through the fire. You are walking evidence that the rejected stone can become the cornerstone. Do not be surprised when the same voices who laughed come asking for your prayers. Do not be surprised when the same ones who doubted come seeking your wisdom. Do not be surprised when the same ones who mocked come needing your hand. Because heaven lifts not to boast, but to reveal love. Because heaven blesses not to shame, but to invite others to believe. Because heaven crowns not to exalt flesh, but to glorify the name of the Most High. The tables are turning now. The scales are balancing now. The story is shifting now. And you are stepping into the chapter they thought would never be written. You are stepping into the doors they thought were locked forever. You are stepping into the answers they thought you would never see. You are stepping into the inheritance heaven prepared when the world said you had nothing. Your steps are ordered, and the angels are walking with you. Your hands are anointed, and what you touch will prosper. Your heart is protected, and no betrayal can destroy you. Lift your head, because the time of vindication has come. Lift your eyes, because the horizon of promise is breaking open. Lift your faith, because the blessing you prayed for is closer than it has ever been. And when it comes, all will know it was not fake, it was faithful. It was not luck, it was the Lord. It was not chance, it was chosen. And the answer to why you will always be because heaven said so. They wanted to see you collapse, but God made you rise. They wanted to see you ashamed, but God clothed you in honor. They wanted to see you empty, but God filled you to overflowing. They wanted to see you quit, but God gave you strength to endure. Every secret battle you fought was seen by heaven. Every lonely night you endured was known by the angels. Every hidden tear you shed was caught in the palm of God. You thought no one noticed, but heaven was watching. You thought no one cared, but the angels whispered your name in worship. You thought no one heard, but your cries were louder than thunder in heaven's courts. This is why the favor is falling now, because you did not stop believing. This is why the blessing is coming now, because you did not stop hoping. This is why the doors are opening now, because you did not stop trusting. They said, "Why you?" But God says, "Because I saw you when no one else did." They said, "Why you?" But God says, "Because I chose you before the foundation of the world." They said, "Why you?" But God says, "Because I placed my spirit within you. You are marked by heaven, and no one can erase it. You are sealed by heaven, and no one can break it. You are chosen by heaven, and no one can deny it. The winds of change are blowing, and they carry your name. The rivers of blessing are flowing, and they lead to your door. The light of heaven is shining, and it rests upon your life. The voices that called you fake will watch miracles manifest around you. The voices that mocked your prayers will watch answers unfold. The voices that doubted your promise will watch fulfillment come to pass. For this is not about proving yourself. It is about proving God faithful. This is not about silencing your enemies. It is about glorifying the Father. This is not about showing your strength. It is about showing His power. Every storm that was against you has become the backdrop for His glory. Every mountain that stood before you has become the stage for His miracle. Every enemy that rose against you has become the witness to His victory. And when they ask again, "Why you?" heaven will answer again, "Because this one carries my name." They thought you were fragile, but God made you unshakable. They thought you were lost, but God was guiding every step. They thought you were empty, but God was filling you with fire. They thought you were fake, but God was writing truth upon your life. When you were broken, heaven was near. When you were broken, heaven was near. When you were broken, heaven was near. When you were tired, angels stood beside you. When you were hopeless, God whispered hope into your spirit. This is why you could not quit, because heaven would not let you go. This is why you could not disappear, because your name was written in eternal light. This is why you could not fail, because God's promise cannot be broken. The ones who said, "Why you?" never saw the oil poured over your head. The ones who said, "Why you?" never saw the covenant sealed with your soul. The ones who said, "Why you?" never saw the angels assigned to your path. You are covered even now. You are protected even now. You are surrounded even now. The shadows that tried to overwhelm you are fleeing in the presence of God's light. The chains that tried to bind you are breaking in the sound of heaven's decree. The curses that tried to follow you are dissolving in the fire of God's word. You are stepping into freedom that cannot be stolen. You are stepping into joy that cannot be quenched. You are stepping into peace that cannot be shaken. And those who doubted will be left in silence. And those who mocked will be left in awe. And those who questioned will be left without words. For the glory of God will speak louder than any voice. For the blessing of God will shine brighter than any shadow. For the truth of God will stand taller than any lie. You were chosen, not because of who you are, but because of whose you are. You were chosen not because of what you carry, but because of who carries you. You were chosen not because of your perfection, but because of His mercy. And that choice cannot be undone. That seal cannot be broken. That promise cannot be revoked. Lift your head because heaven is with you. Lift your heart because your time has come. Lift your eyes because the answer is here. They tried to count you out, but God kept counting you in. They tried to make you small, but God kept reminding you that you were mighty. They tried to push you back, but God kept pulling you forward. They tried to lock you out, but God kept opening doors no one could shut. Your survival is a mystery to them, but heaven has always known the reason. Your strength confuses them, but heaven has always been your source. Your joy unsettles them, but heaven has always been your fountain. They only saw your weakness, but heaven saw your endurance. They only saw your wounds, but heaven saw your healing. They only saw your tears, but heaven saw your crown. And so they said, "Why you?" with doubt in their hearts. But heaven answered, "Because I see what you do not." They saw your scars as shame, but heaven saw your scars as proof of survival. They saw your pain as failure, but heaven saw your pain as preparation. They saw your silence as defeat, but heaven saw your silence as strength. The rejection they gave you only redirected you to God's perfect path. The betrayal you endured only revealed who truly stood with you. The loss you carried only made room for what is coming. You thought you were forgotten, but you were being hidden. You thought you were delayed, but you were being refined. You thought you were abandoned, but you were being protected. Every no you heard was clearing the way for heaven's yes. Every closed door was proof that a greater one was opening. Every delay was the evidence that divine timing was aligning. Now the time has come, and the shift has already begun. The clouds are moving, and the light is breaking through. The silence is ending, and the sound of blessing is being released. You will walk into places prepared just for you. You will stand in positions designed with your name written upon them. You will hold blessings crafted for your hands alone, and no one will be able to deny that it is God. No one will be able to say it was luck. No one will be able to claim it was chance, for all will know it was heaven. And when the voices rise again to ask, "Why you?" they will hear the answer echo from heaven, "Because I said so."